Hey everybody, I'm going to do a quick video on how to set the OBS system up for vlogging. When I first was setting up OBS, I found great YouTube videos on how to install it, and I'm not going to go through that. But most of the setups were for gaming videos. Well, what if you don't want to do gaming videos and you just want to do vlogging? Well, these are my settings. Again, I'm not going to show you how to install the OBS or where to get the OBS. There's plenty of really good YouTube videos on showing you how to do that. I'm just going to show you how I set it up so that I could use it to make my vlogging YouTube videos. The first thing I want to explain is I'll show you my settings after you install it. So we'll go to File, Settings. Now it's been a while, so bear with me. A lot of these I just left just the way they came. But some of them I did change. The general, I just left the same. Streaming, I won't get into streaming probably. I might add it at the end. But streaming is a little bit more difficult to figure out, especially with Google Hangouts. One of the things is your camera is going to be just the opposite. You're going to be flipped, which means you have to do a transform. I will show you some transforming. And you're going to have to flip it over again. So let's go to the output. The output, I have set it at 2500. Software is X264. Now that's the setting that I use when I'm rendering my videos through Premiere Plus. Yours may be a little bit different, but I just really like that. It really sets everything up really good. You can come down here and you can change your browser. OBS automatically puts it in your videos folder, and that's fine. I can move it. It's set up for recording MP4s. And I save it as I stream. So now let's set up our microphone. The sample rate I've got is 44.1 kilohertz. That's really a good setting. You definitely want to make sure it's set to stereo. And everything else is pretty much set standard. Now the video, I can't edit anything because I'm actually recording. But here are my settings. I do my videos in 1080p. It's just a really nice, clear format. So I do my screen size at 1920 by 1080. That fills the screen for YouTube videos. Now, my settings aren't going to be really powerful settings. You don't need fast frame rates or anything like that if you're just doing vlogs. If you just come on right down here, I just have my frames per second set at 30. Now, you can set them again at 60. But if you're not doing really high definition videos and you're not doing fast gaming videos, there's no reason to do that, and that will really slow down your computer. Now let's skip over to the advanced settings. I left everything pretty stock. Just compare your settings with mine and just make sure that they're set up that way. Now let's go over the hotkeys. It's good to learn your hotkeys. It'll save you a whole bunch of time, and you can add hotkeys. I'm not going to show you how to do that. Again, there's some great videos on how to do that. I have some hotkeys set up to start and stop my recording, turn off my microphone, and different things like that. So let's quit that and let's get on to the meat of the matter. So first of all, you start off with scenes. Scenes are going to be what you're going to be using it for. So in other words, I've got one set up for stream. I've got one set up for just my camera. I've got one set up for browsing, which is what I'm going to be showing you first. And then I have one set up for Google Hangouts. And again, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that. So to get started, everything's going to be blank. And that was my biggest question. It gets really confusing. How do I get stuff on my screen so I can record? And actually, when I figured it out, it's actually pretty simple. So the first thing you look over here is you've got your add button where you can add scenes. You can delete scenes. You can move them up in order. So let's just start by adding a scene. And I'm going to add this as example. And I'm not going to hit the cat button. There you go. Okay, so this is going to be the first one. We'll hit OK, and now we have your scene, and again, you've got nothing in it. which is fine. I'm going to show you how to do this. Let's start off with sharing our browser. So let's go over to the sources. The sources is going to be what is actually going to show up in the video. I went back to my screen sharing so that you can see the rest of this process. So let's talk about sources. Sources are the things that are going to show up in your video. And it's set up exactly like scenes. You add, you delete, you can get to the properties, or you can right click and you can do that as well. Or you can move the source up and down. Now it really matters, especially with browsing, what order you put them in, because if you have something that is behind something else that's showing up on the screen, it's not going to show up. So let's start off. I'll show you how to add your screen share. So you go over here and you go to display capture. If you already have a scene set up and you already have sources in it, you can use those sources as well. I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second, but I'm going to create a new. Okay? You come down here and you choose your display. Now, if you only have one monitor, then it's going to automatically show up. With me, I have two monitors, and that's one nice thing about OBS is you can have more than one monitor set up, you can have more than one microphone set up, and you can have more than one camera set up. That way, if you want to have more than one item already popped up, that really helps out a lot. Or if you want to have that fancy schmancy multiple camera thing going on and get really, really detailed, you can do that as well. So I'm going to choose my default one that I'm going to have my browsers on. And you just hit OK. And you're going to see this really funky little thing that looks like it's going off forever. It's that mirror in mirror thing. But don't worry about it, because if you flip over to your browser, it's going to show whatever's on your screen. So let's go back to our screen share. I've already set up a display. If you go to this little eye icon right here, you can click it on and off. So besides the screen share, there's other things that you can add. Let's go down here and see what all we can do. Now again, I do YouTube videos where I vlog. So a lot of the stuff I don't use. I use the audio input. That's going to be my microphone. If I was going to be playing a game or I had something else on my computer that I wanted to use that sound, I would use the audio output capture. You can add an image if you want to add a banner or something like that over it, and I'll show you because I have one of those. And if you want to show a slideshow, so you have your images moving, you can do that as well. I've found that's a little too much for vlogs. So the only other thing I do is I add the video capture device, and that's the camera. Now, let's just start off with auto input because you're showing your screen, but at this point, no one's going to be able to hear you. So let's just click the audio input capture. Now you can choose an existing one, but let's create a new one. Come down here to device. If you only have one microphone attached to your computer, then it's going to automatically choose it. I actually have one on my camera. And I have a Yeti external microphone that I spend a lot of money for. So let's use that one. And we just hit OK. Now this caused me to have some echo, so I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to go ahead and add the existing one. And that should fix that problem. Now they can see your screen and they can hear you. But what if they want to see you? I'm going to show you how to set up your camera. And it's the same setup for setting it up for a different scene that you just want your camera on. But a lot of people like their camera set up when they're doing their screen share. I don't particularly like that because I'm a little hard of seeing. So I wear some funky glasses and I'm going to be hunched over looking at my monitor. And that's not something that anybody wants to see, but you get to see it. So let's add. We're going to come down to video capture device. And again, we can add an existing one, but let's start from scratch. Your device, if you only have one camera, it's automatically going to populate it. You don't have to worry about any of those. Let's come down here and change device default to custom so we can customize this. I'm going to hit 1920 by 1080. I keep the frames per second to match the output. and leave everything else the same, and we'll just choose it. Now I have my camera already set to a different source, so let's just delete that. And let's add the existing one. Bam. And here I am. So I'm hanging from the ceiling, but that's because I have my camera set up a different kind of way, so it's hanging upside down. Now, if yours isn't set up this way, you won't have to worry about this, but all I have to do is to transform it and flip it over. So let's do that. And here's that hunching over. So we're going to right click and we're going to go to transform, and I'm just going to flip it vertically. And there, I'm not hanging from the ceiling anymore. How do you like the fancy glasses? All right. So that's all you need. If you're just doing video with just the camera, you're ready to go. If you're going to add your camera to your sharing, then I'm going to show you how to resize it. First thing I do is I have my preview locked. That way, if I'm screwing around, I won't change any of my settings. So I have to click on that. Now you see this red border and you see this tag. You just hold that tag and you just move it down. And you can move this anywhere you want to. I like to have it down at the bottom. Actually, I don't use it at all because I don't want people to see me. Come up here, edit, lock preview, and bam, there you go. Now let's get rid of that. Next, let's add your image for your banner. Come down here to plus, add image. You can call it anything you want to. Now you have to browse to your picture that you're going to use. Now once you get to the folder that your picture is in, you just choose the picture that you want. We want our banner to be floating over everything so that you can see everything behind it. So you have to pick a PNG file. If you pick a JPEG, I'm going to show you what happens. Even if you cut out your image and you save it as a JPEG, this background is going to be automatically placed there and it's going to cover up everything behind it. We don't want that. So let's choose a PNG. Bam, doesn't that look nice? Okay, we just hit OK. And it's really, really big and it's covering everything else. So we're going to crop it back down again. So once again, we unlock our preview. We grab the handlebar. We move it down. This is a big image, so I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit. And we get it to the size we want. Now you can place it anywhere on your screen. I like it down in the bottom so it's not obtrusive. Come up here and always relock your preview screen. Well, that's it. I hope that helped. So if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe and share this with your friends. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment and I'll get back to you on that. And as always, no matter what tune that life plays you, always find your groove. Thanks for stopping by. Come back and see me.